Sup, you beautiful B-words? This is Raymond C, and let's just jump into it. So, for those, we're going to do some catching up here, because I've been doing some off-schedule streams, and we've covered some ground, so I'm going to catch everyone up. So, the mission system. How's the mission system going? It's a question on everyone's mind right now. Well, I'm happy to say it is 99.99999% complete. There's just a few rough edges to iron out, and there's one more thing I wanted to try implementing, but we'll see how that goes. But I'll show you what's kicking at the moment. So, to recap, if we recall in the older builds of the game, all of the rules, like how you won the game, what happens if you lost the game, all of that stuff, like managing score, ranking, that kind of deal, like just the rules of the game, used to be managed in an asset, a game mode asset more specifically, which Unreal uses these assets as like a way to, they're mainly for like multiplayer stuff, because that's kind of what Unreal's built around. And that's what I was using for a while. So for those who are familiar with Unreal will know what a game mode is, and I have a few old ones. These are all the old ones, and these are all going to get thrown out very soon, hopefully. Because the way I'm doing things now is that it's all persistent. Because one of the limitations of game modes is that if you want to change the rules of whatever game you're in, if you want to change game modes, you can't. You have to like you have to unload the level and load a different level that has a different game mode assigned to it. So when it comes to things like missions like missions, it becomes a problem when you want to just play a mission without having to reload the entire level again, because you might have multiple missions that use the same environment. So for example, people might remember, we hop on back to one of the older levels. Some of you guys might remember this environment, and there was 3 different variants of this level. You had a version of it where you had to collect orbs, you had a version of it where you had to like do a speed run, and then you have like this version that has nothing in it. Now, apart from those rules, they are identical in every way. The geometry is all practically the same. And it doesn't seem like a sensible thing that if you want to go into different modes, like if you want to play this area, but you want to play the time trial version, or you want to do the story, or you want to do like a challenge mode or whatever, to do that, you have to like copy paste the scene and make a new game mode, and it's just not like, it's not good, you know, it's not a good vibe. It's not, I don't know, I don't like it. So I started building this all new system that I've been working on, and it's like pretty much there, like the basics, all I had before is there, but there's just a few extra things I wanted to add in, but I'll show you how this works. So in this environment here, we have the test level. Some of you guys, well, everyone should be familiar with this if you played the game. This is probably maybe the first mission everyone will load into, because it's just the test environment I use. Now, you'll see if I run into that zone, there was like a little invisible box I ran into, and that's going to activate a mission. And you can see that the mission, it's like active at the moment, and I didn't have to reload the whole level. So it's pretty cool. And then if I touch the start thing, it'll start this time trial checkpoint sequence mode that you guys might remember from that other map. So I've just recreated it here in the test scene, and it's just a very primitive version, so you just have to collect checkpoints in a certain order as fast as you can, and it'll score and rank you depending on how quickly you do it. Now in this same level, I can go over here and touch another invisible box and start a completely different mission. That is the collectathon mission type, and you can see that there's no watch, there's no time limit or anything like that. It's just collect three orbs, and there you go. But you notice how like you don't have to reload the level. It like completely works in one game instance, and that's pretty cool. I think you can basically like play different types of missions without having to go into a loading screen. Now there's a few caveats though. There's a few things left on the checklist to do. This seems to look like it works, but there's a bit more I gotta do. But before we get into that, I have to thank our new subscriber, Darshock7. Well, actually, he's not a new subscriber. He's been subscribed for 4 months, apparently. But thank you so much. Appreciate it. Hope to help a little. Much love. Why, thank you. That helps quite a lot. Thank you very much. If you're not already there, you've been subscribed for 4 months. I think you know what I'm about to tell you about, and that's the sub Patreon only Discord. I don't know if I don't think people use the same usernames on Twitch and Discord, so I don't know if you're in there already. But if you are, say hello, so I know that you're in the Raised Bedroom Club. But if you're not, you'll need to link your Discord and Twitch account, and you'll get automatic, you'll get a thing where you can join in. So if you need help with that, I'm sure someone in chat here will be able to help you. Spyros is there, he knows how to do it. He'll help you out if you need. But if you're already there, that's pretty epic. That's pretty epic. So thank you, man. Well, thanks, Fishy. It's I guess you could compare it to Mirror's Edge Catalyst, although I'm not trying to build Mirror's Edge Catalyst, but yeah, there's some things in common. I was having a discussion today with my level designer about the whole, how to even design because it's such a, it's complicated. Designing levels for a game like this, it's actually quite difficult. I thought it was just me sucking at level design, but through the discussions I've been having with a few people here and there, it's not easy. There's so many ways to do it, so many ways not to do it, and each come with their own challenges. But I'm going to talk more about that in my next devlog. That'll come out as soon as this is all fixed and ready to go. So it should be, I don't want to give an estimate because who knows, something unexpected might happen. But I would say probably by the end of this month. Unless something really urgent happens, you could expect to see the next one by the end of the month, at the latest, unless there's an emergency. So, yeah, if you want to know more about why level design and how all that works, and kind of what led to the creation of this whole system, I'm going to go into that in my devlog when that drops. But for now, we'll stay on task. We'll see about how we can get this over the finish line, because there are a few issues to address here, and it's time to whip out Notepad, because I'm going to need to explain. Oh no, I don't want to open Edge, I want Notepad. I wish I could uninstall Edge, honestly, because Google Chrome is the exact same, and it's, well yeah, I don't want 2 web browsers, I only need the one. So, what we need to do is, load levels. We'll call this load stream levels, because that is indeed the name of the function. And I think there's one more thing I was just working on before I hopped on stream, and I can't remember what it was now, but I was fixing something. What was I just fixing? I can't remember. Probably not that important. But I think that's kind of the last thing. But there was something I was just working on, 5 minutes ago, that I needed to fix, and I can't remember what it was. I fixed the checkpoints, by the way, because there was an issue last time where these were broken. These can now be scaled, so that's pretty cool, and they the trigger volumes all work. But yeah, so for those, to put that in context, because I did some just unscheduled streams yesterday and the day before, just because I felt like doing it, and we got a lot of the work that you're seeing now with having the checkpoint sequence work as it does, having it go 1, 2, 3, and then finish. That's kind of what we got working on those streams. The VODs will still be up if you're curious to know the whole backstory, but yeah, so that's kind of where it is. I'm just trying to remember there was some other thing besides this that I had to do, and I can't remember for the life of me what it was. And I was just working on it, and it's gonna bother me now. Oh, what was it? I'm sure it'll come to me, but that's. So we got this mystery task that I can't remember that I needed to fix, but then there's load stream levels. So what that means is that one thing I wanted this to be able to do, because you'll notice if I load in the game, you'll see already that all of the checkpoints and the collectibles are there, but I don't want them to be until I start a mission. So the way I've thought about doing this is to keep that stuff on a separate level and load it in, stream it in, because Unreal does indeed have level streaming technology. If you don't know what level streaming is, it's basically the ability to have 2 levels loaded in together, at the same time. They use this technique a lot. I think Jack and Daxter was the first game to invent that idea of level streaming. because if you've played the original Jak and Daxter, I don't know if this is a thing in Jak 2 and 3, I haven't played those two, but I know for 1, definitely, that there is no loading screens in that game, like, at all. And the reason that is because they break the big island up into different chunks, and they stream them in depending on where you are. Now, thankfully, I am not Naughty Dog Entertainment, and I don't have to invent that to be able to use it, because it already exists, and it's built right into Unreal. And I'm actually already using it. So I think I showed this off yesterday, but for those who weren't here, I'll show you what I mean. So you see on the left side of my screen, I have the level, and on the right side, I have this menu. And you can see this is the list of levels that are loaded in right now. These are the stream levels that are loaded in. So Unreal will always have a persistent level. That just means the current thing, the current scene that we're in. But inside this, I have like a lot of hidden ones that I'm not using, but a lot of ones that I am using. So if I were to disable one of these, like if I took out example underscore or like lighting, that's going to take out all the lighting. That's on its own level that I stream in. Or I could take out all the geometry. Or I could take out all of my gameplay related stuff. So you can start to see now how maybe we can do something with this. Like, like imagine we start the level and like nothing is visible, and then when we activate a mission trigger, it loads in the thing it needs to load in for that mission, and then when we're done, it unloads it. So that's the goal. That's the idea. So one thing I did do today was that I tried to set up a function for that, but I haven't actually tested it yet. So yeah. So I guess there's probably going to be a lot of bugs with it. So we're going to see how that works. But to start off, I'm going to need to make some levels that have all these separate things in them. So I'm going to open up the maps folder, and we're going to create a new map called example, because this is the name of the map, example underscore gameplay underscore, I'm just trying to think of a naming convention to use, because to me, gameplay is like, it's just like the core functional parts. It's not like the geometry or audio volumes or anything. It's just like the stuff that Project Feline would need specifically. So I think, should I call it example underscore mission or example underscore gameplay? Maybe gameplay underscore mission. Yeah, you know what? I'll just call it example underscore mission underscore time trial underscore 01. That's what we'll call it. And we're going to take this stuff that I already have, and probably the mission itself. I'm going to copy it, and we're going to open this bad boy, and we're going to paste it into its own level. So it doesn't look like much, but if I save that, and if I go back to my example, the full scene, I can now go in, I can go in and delete all this now from this scene. And while we're at it, I will also, oh, what's this? Okay, I might have to leave that in. But I'll take the collectibles too and put them on their own level as well, for like the other mission type. We'll take those, Control C, and we'll make another map. We'll call this example underscore mission underscore collect-a-thon underscore 01, and we'll paste those. Save it, and then we'll go back to, I don't think I saved my changes to the base map. Yeah, no, I didn't, so we'll have to delete these, because these will be loaded in separately. So to be able to load these in though, we need to add those to the list of levels. So we need to go here, and we need to drag in, and I should probably save before I do this. So save, but we need to drag in that new one. We need to drag in where did I put them? Example underscore mission collectathon and mission time trial. So we just gotta load them in like that into this list, because if we don't put them there, then it won't be able to load them from the blueprint. But you can see now, all our stuff's back. We got the checkpoints and collectibles again, but I can disable them. So I can turn on the time trial, I can turn on the collectathon, and I can have them both on if I want, or I can have them both off, which I think I'll leave them on for now. There we go. Now, keep in mind, I haven't actually done anything like this before with Unreal. All I know is that it's possible, and I asked a friend about it one time, but I actually haven't done it myself yet. So this will be like an experiment for me. I don't know if this will work the way I think it will, but I'm sure there's going to be problems, and that's the fun. That's what we're all here for, to see what comes up and how to fix it. Could the streaming levels cause potential lag spikes? Yes. However, in this case, we're not loading in a lot of stuff. We're just loading in like collectibles and all that. And even so, it's not like we're loading in geometry. If it was like graphics we were loading in, like if we loaded in a whole other chunk of level, yes, there'd probably be a spike. But usually you can cover that stuff up with, you know, maybe a brief loading zone or something like that. But it's a much quicker way of loading stuff than loading in the entire scene. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of loading the entire scene again and having a big loading screen just to add a... You know, like Sonic 06. Okay, Sonic 06, I know I keep talking about it, but that is actually a game that would have benefited from level streaming, but I don't think it was really a thing back then. But think about all the loading screens in Sonic 06. Think about the town missions, where you have to go to Soliana, and if you want to do the town mission, you got to talk to the NPC, and then to activate like the actual mission, you press yes, and then there's like a 12-second loading screen. And then there's another scenario where you're talking to the guy, and then he says something, and then there's another loading screen, and then you actually get to play the mission. And a lot of people, the vast majority of people, did not like that. So something like this basically cuts that loading time into like a 1/12 of what that would be. And it's more efficient because you're only loading in the mission content. The reason why Sonic 06's loading screens are so long is because it's very likely that they're taking the entire town of Soliana after you accept a mission, unloading it from memory, reloading it back in with the specific mission parameters that are in that mission. And it's just like, yeah, that's a way of doing it. But also, we're not in 2006 anymore, and we got more power. So yes, there's always going to be loading. But if you were to run this game with this streaming technique, if you ran this on a high-end system or like a PS5, you would not notice. Because PS5s are actually built, from what I've heard at least, and from what because I've tried out the new Ratchet and Clank. I didn't play a lot of it yet, but that game, the reason that, like, all of that stuff, that's all level streaming. All you see. It's not a new thing. It's been around since Jak and Daxter, but because technology has caught up to the point where you can make it look really seamless, like in Ratchet Rift Apart, where he can like go into a portal and load a completely different level. The reason that's like not as chunky now is just because hard drives have gotten quicker, and it's like they have those little NVMe drives in there now, which are way quicker at loading data. My computer has one of those as well, and I'm sure maybe some of you guys have them. So for those guys, loading, you won't even register it. But if you've got an older hard drive, there might be a bit of loading screen time, but like what game doesn't have that, you know? Like if you're running like on a hard drive, and if like Warzone has a loading screen, then you can put up with Feline having a loading screen, you know? Like, unavoidable, but if you have a high-end system, you'll be able to take advantage of it. That's sort of the idea. Well, yeah, the Mac SSDs, yeah, they're pretty alright, yeah. Anyway, so now that we've broken that down, let's actually try and load in a stream level and see how that goes. So let me think for a second. Yeah, okay. So what I'll need to well, actually, I'm starting to see there might be an issue with how I'm doing this, but we'll just see what happens. So, okay. Let me just turn these off for the moment, because we got a bit of a problem, and that's, I'm not sure how we're going, because we're loading in a different level that has mission data on it, but we're calling it from another scene. And I'm not sure if it's going to know, because the mission object is... Okay, you know, maybe I'm thinking too far. Let's just do stuff. So I'm going to delete... I'm going to clear that. I'm going to clear that. I might have to change how the mission triggers work. Because, yeah, the issue is, some of you might remember a few days ago I made these mission triggers, and these are basically just trigger volumes, and you give it, this is how this works. You go to the mission trigger blueprint I made, and you just tell it what mission you want it to activate. And there's a few, if we go mission Yeah, you just tell it what mission you want it to activate, and it'll activate the mission. But here's the problem. Because I'm going to be putting missions at a different level than what this trigger will be on, there's going to be some issues, because it's not going to be able to get the reference to that thing, because it isn't loaded. So I might have to change how this works. So yeah, we'll do that. So I'm going to open the blueprint for mission trigger, because I think I'm going to have to change how this works for this to pan out. And then I'll need to open the base class for missions as well. Where did I put it? Ah, here we go, mission component. So one thing I added today was that I added this little function called load stream level. And you can make an array, because I've made it so that you can load in multiple if you want. And we're going to copy this and put it in the mission trigger. And I'm going to need to make some variables, like the ones we have here. So I'll need to create a levels to load. This needs to be a name variable. And we need to make it an array. Oh, thanks, Fishy. Yeah, Fishy basically, yeah, that's a very good, eloquent way of describing what's going on. I'm basically using level streaming to make missions. Yeah, that's actually, Mr. Thomas, that is a good point too. As I said, yeah, level streaming isn't a new thing, but I think it's like more feasible now, or it's like you can take it to more extremes with the current hardware. But yes, technically, you could do it on a PS4. You could, like, Jak and Daxter did it on a PS2. So it's like, it's not new, but it's like, people are using it creatively now, it seems. Or like, they're making a bigger deal of it now for whatever reason. So yeah, I guess it was just much harder to do back in Jak and Daxter, because they kind of had to like hack the hardware to do it. But now we don't have to do that, because it's like built into a lot of engines now. So that's really cool. So I've got this event, and I have a dispatcher I was gonna make for this too. But I need to copy it. So we will need to bind this. And this will actually, before I add it in, I gotta give it a boolean. Because I want it to be able to unload these levels as well. So we will be able to do that with this boolean pass-through. Also, Unreal users, I learned something today that is gonna that I really should have known a long time ago, but this is gonna save your life. So some of you probably already know what I'm gonna say, and I didn't know about this, but if you're making a new blueprint, and if you don't use tick, you wanna untick start tick enabled. It will save so much resources. I didn't know this existed until now, and I've been working on this game for 3 years. So I'm gonna have to do a little session at some point where I go in and untick this for a lot of the stuff I've made. And who knows, we might get a big performance boost. It may not make a difference, but apparently this thing, unless you're using it, you want it off because performance. So there's my little fun. You learn something every day, you know? There's my little fun lesson for you today. The more you know. So I actually might need to change this as well, this event. Because what does this say? If overlap is true. Okay, so we don't want to call on start mission. We want to do something else. We want to load stream level. or call on load stream level. And we want to load in. So what this will do, I need to also copy a little... And I'll add a little boolean just in case. Because we don't want to do this for whatever reason. There we go. So if load stream level is true, because I don't know, maybe we use this blueprint for something else for whatever reason. But if it's true, we will do the thing. The only thing is, okay, there might be a bit more. Oh, there might be a bit more we'll need to do here. Because how are we gonna unload this? I don't know. I'm sure we'll figure out something. Let's just get it loaded in first. We'll worry about unloading later. But we have something to work with now, so I will compile. And we will tick this box on. Well, actually, we'll leave it off, and we'll turn it on when we need to turn it on. So now what we should be able to do is, if we go to this mission trigger, we should be able to go here and tick load stream level and add a few level names. So we just want one. We can put more if we want, but we'll just start off with that one we made. I think it was called example_mission_time trial 01. I think that was the name. So what should happen now is that if we touch this trigger, it should load in those checkpoints, and well, we'll see what happens. Let's try it. Oh, so it works. See, there's no loading screen, guys. Look at that. It happened instantly. So yeah, I'm not too worried about the load times, because again, this is like, it's we're not loading in like geometry. It's like very basic stuff we're loading in. So it's like instantaneous. Okay? You see how fast that was? Like, let me restart. So here, it's not loaded right now. None of those checkpoints are not loaded. And if I walk into this zone, bam. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So here's the issue though. The mission itself loads, but it doesn't start. So, okay, we're gonna do a little hacky solution here. It'll probably be good enough, so let's try it. We wanna go to the example time trial, and we wanna tell it to activate the mission on begin play. I think. There we go. So we wanna tell the mission, because the actual mission, like the mission logic, is in the thing that we're loading in. So we need to tell this thing to, wherever it is. I think where... Oh yeah, so we need to go to mission, and I think there should be a tick box. There should be a thing like activate on begin play, I feel like. Maybe it's not here. I thought it would be here. Input. Auto set input on mission start. UI. Oh, maybe... where is it? There should be a... Begin play. Oh, there's nothing? No, that can't be right. Huh. Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that base class quickly, because I feel like there's definitely... I know that there's something you can do with my base mission class. If I go mission component... Yeah, hold on. There should be a thing here. Oh, maybe I got rid of it. Huh. Alright, well I'm gonna have to add that back in then. So we'll make a boolean we'll call activate on begin play. And then this will be whether to activate the mission on begin play. We'll make this instance editable. We will put this in a appropriate category. So if we compile that, we should now have a new boolean called activate on begin play. There we go. Give me a moment. I'm gonna move some of this stuff around. Rearrange these variables. So now, on begin play, we can then tell it, branch. We need to make a branch. Activate on begin play. And then if that's true, we'll call on activate. Wait. Oh, call on start mission. There we go. Okay, so we'll rename this. We'll call this start mission on begin play. Might be a more appropriate name. What's this? Real FD. Good to see you again, man. 7 months really does fly by. It does. But I want to thank you so much for your support throughout all 7 of those months, dude. I appreciate it so much. It's you guys that allow me to do this stuff. And that's great. I'm always very thankful. So, the real FD? Well, yeah. Only the real FD would be so generous. We know that the fake FD wouldn't do that. That's how I know. I know that you haven't been hacked by the fact that you're still subscribed, and I know, okay, that is still the real FD, not the imposter one. But thanks, dude. Yeah. Fishy's comment. We have technology. I would honestly love to see Patrick try and play my game. I'd be so curious. If you put Patrick Star in front of Project Feline, what does he do? I'd be... I'm sure this is the first time in history that anyone has had that thought cross their mind. Can I play your game? No, I'm just kidding. Of course you can play my game. If you go down to the cards, if you scroll down, you'll see a big button that says play now with a picture of a cool cat girl on it. Now keep in mind, that will take you to the last build I uploaded, which was in December. So this stuff isn't ready, like this isn't out yet, but a lot of it is there, like the levels and all that. You'll have all that stuff. You'll have the movement and everything, the mechanics, some gameplay. But this current system is still, it's not in there yet. But you can play it. You can play it. Just check out down below. It is not available on Mac though, and I don't think it ever will be. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's just Apple make it so difficult as a Windows user to compile on Mac. Because if you want to compile on Mac with Unreal, you need to own a Mac. And as it so happens, I do own a Mac, but it's like she's on her last legs. She doesn't have she can't run Unreal because you need to install Unreal on the Mac and you need to like put the game to the Mac. I need to push my game to my little 8-year-old laptop and install Unreal on it and compile a project there. And she can't handle it. She's too old. I need to get like a new Mac to be able to do that. But yeah, as you all know though, Macs cost money, and I do not have the funds to buy Mac. So yeah, and I don't think that'll happen. So yeah, if Apple made it easier, if it let me compile on Mac from my expensive Windows machine, then sure, I would do it. But it's not up to me, sadly. You can run Unix apps? Oh, sweet. I don't know what that means. Have I thought about restarting? That is actually something I will need to... I'll add that to the list, actually. I was almost going to forget about that. Thanks for reminding me. So there's a few things I need to do there too. And I also need to... the results screen has a problem with it. Because on the results screen, when you finish a mission, it gives you 2 buttons to like restart the mission or to exit to menu. I want to get rid of the exit to menu button And I want to, the restart button will restart the entire level, which I don't want it to do. So I'm going to change all of that too. But yeah, thanks for reminding me about the restart, because that also... Whoa, hold on a sec. What the hell just happened in my... what happened in my chat right here? Oh my god, Real FD. I think Real FD has been hacked, guys. I think this is the imposter. And he's trying to prove to me that he's the real one by being so generous and donating 5 subs. Bruh. I'm suspicious now. Are you the real FD? Or are you trying to make me trust you? Are you trying to trick me? But thanks, dude. Wow. Thanks so much. I still have the sound effects playing of like all of the subs you've just gifted. Thank you so much. We've got 5 new Discord members now also, which is gonna be sick. So, oh my god, the sound effect's still going. That plays this little noise. It's supposed to play on the stream too, but I don't think it works for some reason. I don't know. Streamlabs is weird. What's the Discord? Okay, so the way the Discord works. Now, if you type... No, don't type that command. That'll get you the wrong one. So the way the Discord works, I do not control how roles are delegated, and I do not give out invite links, because, as it turns out, you don't need one. All you need to do is, you need to link your account, your Twitch account and your Discord account. And when you do that, I can't remember exactly, Spyro, because you've done it. Yeah, there you go. Settings, connections to Discord. And I think in that menu, in the connections menu, you will see like the icon for my server, and you'll be able to hop in. Now keep in mind, again, because of that infrastructure, I can't give invite links, because like, it's going to mess up the automation of all of that. Because the way it works is, I've set it up and I don't have to touch it. Memberships are already automatically granted to subs and to patrons, and it all works like clockwork. So, if for whatever reason, I don't know, if it doesn't work, like, I won't be, because I don't actually have control over the roles. Like, I can't give people the Twitch role and give them access. Like, I can't, it's above my privilege. I can't touch it. But the bots usually work fine. You just got to make sure your account's linked. And there you go. Yeah, you got it. You got it, man. Sick. Well, so, it's going to come through this door any second now. Yeah. So, for those, it's the Ray's bedroom server. And what the big magic part of that is that the server is actually a magic portal into my actual bedroom. So you can actually see the rest of the subs sitting on my couch back there, they're all playing PS2 with the boys. So you can now play amongst them in the Ray's bedroom server. So anyway, thanks so much, Real, appreciate it. But we'll get back to the mission system, because you guys aren't subbing to me for me to say thank you for 5 hours. So back on track, back into the work here. Well, actually, what was I doing just now? I can't remember. Oh yeah, stream levels and the mission. We were doing that thing where we could tell the mission to automatically activate. That's what we're doing. Yeah. So what should happen now? There should be a tick box called Start Mission on Begin Play. And if how do I turn that on? I don't see it. Oh, here it is. No, wait a sec. Ah, here we go. So if I tick that on, save it, and if we go back to the example scene, it should work. Just give me a moment. I'm gonna find my chat window. There we go. You also uploaded in Feline Discussion? Cool. I'll check it out. What have you got for us? Nice one, dude. For those who are wondering. We have technology. Oh, but we know what he's gonna do. He's gonna smash the computer. He won't be able to play the game. No, Patrick, don't smash the computer. Actually, you know what this reminds me of? I did something really cool today. If you check my Instagram story, I bought these really cheap RCA converters to HDMI and vice. I have 2 of them. One of them is RCA to HDMI. Is this the one? RCA to HD. Wait, which is which? I don't know. RCA. Yeah, this is RCA to HDMI. This is HDMI to RCA. So you know what that means. It means I can take my PS2 and plug it into one of these nice monitors, because these don't have RCA input, because who the hell does that now? But I can, if my old CRT here, which I bought for like $50, breaks, which it probably will at some point, then I could still play my PS2 with a with one of my modern screens. But the real kicker here is the RCA to, no, is it this one? No, it's this one. It's the HDMI to RCA. So you know what I did earlier? I plugged my computer into my CRT and I played Project Feline. And it was the coolest thing. I thought it was so cool. It actually made me appreciate my game for once. Because I look at this every day. I honestly do not see the magic in this game. Because it's not that I don't think there is some of that there, but it's hard for me to judge because I am like desensitized to my game. You guys enjoy it, and that's great. And that's probably like, as long as people enjoy it, it's like, okay, it's probably good enough then, right? But me, all I see is software, because that's what it's an Unreal project to me. And it's hard for me to imagine it as an actual game. But when I plug it into that CRT, whew, it actually felt pretty magic. So that's what I was doing. If you check my Instagram story, you'll see it on the screen. And I don't know, it's so cool. It was really fun. So I hope to do some more CRT gaming with my PC now. Because the thing is, I can put any game on there. So I can take my Halo Master Chief Collection, plug it into that, and pretend that we're still in 2004 and play online Halo 2. So that's kind of, yeah. That's what's up. But anyway, if I get onto CRTs again, we're gonna be here for an hour, so we'll move on. But yeah, it was a really exciting part of my day, but not as exciting as Real FD gifting 5 subs. That's pretty epic. Hello, Clam. New to game development, is UE the best platform for PvP games? Hell yeah. That is the best platform for PvP. I'm assuming by PvP you mean like multiplayer, because if so, I'm happy to tell you that Unreal Engine was made for like multiplayer FPS games back in like the 90s. That's how long it's been around, and that's how much time it's had to be a good engine. And I gotta say, it's pretty good. I personally haven't done multiplayer, but it has way more features than anything I've seen out there for like solid multiplayer. And AAA studios use it, so there you go. So for multiplayer, Unreal is kind of designed for that. Like, I'm not really using Unreal for what it's meant for. Like, this is supposed to be for like online FPS games, like Unreal Tournament. This is like why the engine exists. So for that specific job, you have picked the right engine, my friend. Directed to Unity? Bruh, no, not Unity. Get out of there. You're talking to the wrong guys. You gotta do Unreal. Unreal is on the move, bruh. Yeah, of course, it's always on the move. Unreal is on the move so much that Unreal has been playing, Unreal has been on the move so fast that Unity has been playing catch up since it was made. Just to put that in perspective. Unity's good. I've used Unity. I use Unity for 8 years, so it's not that I'm just trashing it because I haven't used it. I've used it more than I've used Unreal. Unreal has more in the package to help you make your vision. That's how I'll put it. Because yeah, I've answered this question, I think, for like the last 3 days straight. People have asked me stuff like this. That is the most succinct answer I think I can give to that. It just has more there to help you achieve your vision. So there you go. That's basically it. Anyway, back to work here. So, all right, that thing I was gonna try, let's do it. So what should happen is, if I touch this, yeah, it worked. Oh my goodness. So it activated the mission. That's pretty epic. So this might not look like much, but just to catch everyone up, because I know we've gone a bit off topic a bit. So at the moment, there is no mission content loaded. There is only a trigger box that is in this scene, and if I touch it, I don't know if I can show volumes. I don't know if that'll work. No, it won't work. But if I run into that invisible box, it will, on that frame, load those checkpoints, and it'll load the mission, and it'll start the mission. So if I run in here, look at that. it loaded in all of this stuff. So all of like the checkpoints and the load order and the finish line and the logic to keep track of time and all of that stuff, that's getting like, that's not loaded when I go into the scene. It loads when I touch this thing, like a stream level. So that's pretty cool. So let's break this down. So we've technically finished load stream levels. That is now done. But what we have not done is unload stream level. Because I don't know how we're going to tackle this exactly. But I think to do this, we're going to have to go to one of these other ones for the moment. I think I can get rid of this now. We're going to have to tackle the result screen. Actually, let me think. No, we'll do the restart stuff first, then we'll do the result screen, because the result screen is going to need stuff from the restart. So, as per, who was it that suggested, that reminded me? I can't remember. Who suggested the restart mission thing? I want to give them credit. Who was it that reminded? I'm trying to find the chat, but I'm just like half paying attention to it. Whoever it was that reminded me that we need to put this in, thank you. We're going to do that now. So what this means is the restart mission, because here's something else that you guys may have caught. If I go to hit and restart, that's going to restart the entire scene, which is a bit unnecessary. All I really need it to do is just to respawn the character. So, well, actually it depends. Well, let's hop in. Let's hop into the pause menu blueprint and see what we're able to do. So if I go into menu and if I go into, I think it's called menu pause. Yeah, there we go. So I haven't touched this blueprint in a while, so it might look a bit ancient. Yeah, you can see it. Organization is a little cramped here, but we need to change the restart button, because what the restart button does, well, it loads a prompt. And I actually don't know if I want to keep that in. It loads this prompt saying restarting level will lose all your progress. I don't know if we really need that. It kind of interrupts the flow, I think. Because I want to hit the button. I don't know. Maybe we'll, just for simplicity, we'll ignore this prompt. We may edit back in later, but just for simplicity's sake. Yeah. So we'll unplug this. And we will do something when restarting. So when we restart, we're gonna need to close this menu first off. So yeah, we're gonna need to actually get rid of the, like, hide the pause menu. Well, actually, it needs to. Well, we'll do that first. So if we hit this now, it'll just do the same thing as continue. But there's got to be a few more things to it here. I'm just trying to remember what functions, because I made a lot of dispatches for this kind of stuff. I'm just trying to remember what I can use. Well, we'll need to be able to respawn the character in the right spot. That's the first priority. So we need to get the player pawn. We need to get component by class. We need to get its health component. In fact, I think we may have done, let me check something on the mission system. I think I've already done this somewhere. Of respawning the player. Or did I? Oh, here we go. I'm gonna copy this. Because this is kind of the gist of what I'm after. So yeah, actually all of this I'm gonna have to copy. Let's paste that over here, because this is a lot, but I'll break it down. So what this does, this is part of the mission system, and this like changes where the player spawns. So this will actually be a little simpler, because all we need to do is we need to get player start. How do I Because there's that object called player start, and that's what I want to get, but I don't know how to like Is there a way to... Is there a way in Unreal to like get the player start object without having to like reference the specific object? Like just to like know what the... Like what I'm thinking of is a function or like a thing you do where it's like get player start and then it just finds in the scene if there is a player start and just returns it. That's what I'm thinking I want, but I don't know if that exists as like a node that I can use. Or I don't know if that's even a good idea, but it's just, that's what I'm thinking should happen. So let me Google that. Unreal get start. Player start, Unreal documentation. Let's have a look at what this has. Oh, what's this, Mr. Thomas? Can't you just track completion of the mission for the results screen? Then hit complete mission. I don't know what you mean exactly. I think I know what you're getting at, but I don't know if that will work. Because, oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Well, we're just gonna do like a restart mission at the moment. I don't know if there will be a purpose to restarting, because the way that it'll work is restart mission. If you press restart while in a mission, it'll restart the mission. But if you press restart while not in a mission, it'll like restart the level as you put it. That's kind of how I'm thinking about it. Because why have two restart buttons? We can have one, you know? It's kind of what I'm thinking. But for the results screen, that's a bit more complicated. We'll get to that bridge when we get to that bridge. But I'm just wondering, is there a way we can just like return? Because you can only, or maybe it's because you can have more than one of these in a scene. That could be why. Or maybe, what's get num players? Oh, active. Okay. What about get? Okay. Well, this might be a bit, because essentially what's going to happen here is that when you hit restart, it needs to be able to put you back where you start the mission from. But I don't want you to have to restart the whole mission because it just seems like a bit unnecessary. But you know what? Yeah, no, forget that. We'll just, at the moment, let's just focus on the mission part. We'll worry about if you're not in a mission later. We can always resort back to the old, because we still have that node, so we can always like resort to restarting the whole thing, like reloading the whole scene. But just for the mission system, we'll worry about that first. We'll worry about the other stuff later. But we will need a vector, and that vector will be get game mode. Cast to Feline game mode, and then we will get mission, or maybe get mission component. I don't know which, but we will need a mission start. Oh, here we go. Mission start spawn. That's what we will need. Which actually we already had here. Oh, yeah, no, I see the problem. Actually, okay, one sec. Let me just see how that, okay, so I've broken down, I've recombined that and broken that. I'm just gonna see what plugs in where. There we go. What have you got? Well, you know, we're not doing multiple. We're not going to be able to have one mission. Well, you can only, there can be multiple missions in a level, but you cannot have them both active at one time. That I've accounted for that already. We did that like earlier this week. Don't worry about it. Actually, no, we did that last week. So yeah, that's been a thing for a while now. You can't activate 2 missions at the same time. So don't worry. Don't worry, man. I got this. Are blueprints easy to Are blueprints easy to debug? Is anything easy to debug? I don't know. I mean, depends on what you mean by easy. I certainly have had my fair share of trials and tribulations, just debugging in general. I don't think blueprints makes it easier. It just depends on what you're actually making. If you're doing something easy, then yes, it'll be easy to debug. But if you're not doing that, then your mileage will vary. But I don't think it matters whether it's like a C++ or blueprint thing. It's depending on what you're making, the nature of what you're making is what's going to make it hard, not the fact that it's in a graph. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to think and act the same way. It's just you're using a graph interface for one of them. But the logic fixing is just as frustrating, trust me. I'm gonna have to add a few reroute nodes, I think, for this. We got a C++ boy here. Sick. Yeah, that's great. I am not that brave, but props to you, sir. Is there a debugger? I think there is a debugger, but I personally have not used it because I don't know how to read a debugger. I just debug the way I do it, and I guess it all works itself out. But there is a debugger. I think there's like, if you go Window, Developer Tools, yeah, there's something here called Debug Tools. So I don't know what any of this means. You might know what this means. I have no clue what any of this means, but apparently these are debug tools. So yeah, there's probably more tools that I don't know about. Because again, I'm not a programmer. I just try to do programming because, you know, it's cheaper that I just do the programming for my game. So I do it. But I'm not by any means a programmer. I'm just an artist who scripts things from time to time. But yeah, I don't know, this might mean something to you. It may not. I don't know what any of this is. I know what the output log is, so yeah, I am smart, but I don't know what any of this stuff means. Oh, there is actually, yeah, here we go, a blueprint debugger. Okay. So I don't know what any of this does, but I don't know. Maybe you'll know what this means. But anyway, back to it. So I need to do this, and then we also need. Yeah, okay, yeah, we need one to get mission start spawn. Debuggers. Well, yeah, like I cannot contribute anything useful to this discussion because I've never used debuggers. Because again, I am not a programmer. I just try my best, but I don't know how to do any of that stuff. But I do know how to 3D model, so I guess that makes up for it somehow. Maybe. Discord. Well, yeah, so with the Discord, we used to have a public one, but it was just so much work to moderate. It was just interfering with the game's schedule, so I had to, like, suspend it. It may come back when, like, maybe when, like, the game actually releases and I have time to do more Discord stuff. It's just, when you have a server of, like, thousands of people, it becomes more of, like, a job, and you need to, like, take a lot more responsibility, and piled on top of everything else, I just didn't want to deal with it at the moment. Like, not when the game needs, because the game isn't going to need as much attention like later on, but it needs like my undivided attention. So we've turned that off for the moment, but I do have the Patreon and Twitch Discord, because managing a smaller group of like 20 people is much easier, and I just find it more comfortable too, because I'm very introverted. I don't really feel comfortable being in a group of 2,000. It's just not me. I get too shy. So having that small little group, like, I'd rather have like a smaller group of more active people than like a large group who talk maybe once a month. That's just kind of my prerogative. So yeah. Also, having it the way it is now, it's just more cost effective, because now I can actually like pay to maintain it, because that's kind of like part of what's in the cost of like a Twitch sub or a Patreon, is that part of that will go to maintaining the server, which the old server I didn't get any funding for at all, which is why I had to kind of discontinue it. So yeah, it kind of goes into just, you know, it like covers the time I had to take to make the server and to make rules for it and to manage the roles and, you know, and to moderate it, like that kind of stuff, because that takes time out, and it's like, I'd like that time to be, you know, like, I have very limited time, so I have to like spend it smart, and I just not a smart idea right now to spend it on a public server while the game is in this state, because it's like the game is kind of more urgent and it needs my attention more. So, you know, it's made my work a lot easier, and I've been having more fun with like the Patreon and Twitch server. It's a bit more relaxed, because I feel like with the old one, maybe this will change. Like, by the time the game releases, maybe I will come out of my shell more. But at the present time, it was just like, I felt like I was the server owner, and I felt like unwelcome, because there's just so many people that I don't know who are in here, and I feel like I'm scared to say anything, because when you have that many eyes, it's like, I don't know, you don't want anything you say to be like, you know, you don't want like something you say in passing in a Discord chat, like, oh, I'll try and get this feature in, to be used as like a promise later. So I always had this anxiety of posting things in the big server, because it's like, this, like, I don't want people to take it that seriously, but I don't know how they will react. If I like drop a little info, like if I give a little story detail, I don't want to be held accountable to that later, because that may change, you know, those sorts of things. But if it's a smaller group, it's that kind of stuff is much easier for me to handle. So yeah, I'll see you real. Thanks so much again, man, for the subs. I appreciate the support so much. You have now made more Discord members for the current server, which is great. So thank you. How do I start on a game? I have an MMORPG plan in mind. All right. I don't know if you're joking, but if you're asking me, the first step is to drop the MMO idea, and that we'll start with that, and then, well, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. Ultimately, it's up to you. You'll have to decide what to do. But who knows? Maybe you can make a small MMO. Well, I guess that's not really a thing. You can't do a small MMO, because that's gonna be like an MO or an M. Yeah, that's just going to be a multiplayer online game. It's not going to be... The other M is just not there. I don't know. I haven't made an MMO before, so I'm not really the guy to ask for that. I don't play MMOs. I don't make MMOs. I have no idea. All I know is that it sounds difficult. But what I'm doing probably also sounds difficult, so who am I to tell you otherwise? So I don't know. I don't know what to do. But generally... learn project management. No matter what project you're doing, if it's an MMO, if it's a small mobile game, learn project management first. Cultivate habits that facilitate you being able to finish something. Passion, raw passion, is not enough fuel for that kind. Not like that will be enough for a small game. I think that's kind of something I've noticed now that I've been doing this for a while. Raw passion is great, but it is not a sustainable fuel source, because you're going to have points in the project. You're going to have points. Things are going to happen. And you'll have a task to do that you really don't want to do. And it's the one task that's standing in the way of having an MMO and not having one, or whatever game you're doing. And you need to be able to sit down and do it anyway, so that the game gets made. And I think it's those moments. That's when I think that's like the event horizon when people quit the project they're doing and they say, it was too difficult, I got burned out, it's just, you know, I wasn't interested, I lost passion for it. I think the catalyst for that to happen is going off raw ambition, motivation, like raw ambition and drive alone, because that's not enough. You're gonna need discipline, you're gonna need good habits. Do I have those? Probably not like the best, but I try to do that. Do I do it perfectly? Hell no. But from my experience, for the last 2-3 years I've been making this game, I have found that to be the case for me. It may be the case for you too, but I don't know. I haven't met you, I don't know what you're like, but it may be the case for you too. So that's, I think, because there's this advice I used to get a lot, to start small, and I hate that advice. Because it kind of discouraged, like when I was starting off, I hated that advice because it was very discouraging for me. Because I didn't want to start small, because I knew what I wanted to make. But I understand now why that advice is not bad. Because what it will get you to do, because I ended up following it against my better judgment, I guess. Like, I didn't want to start small, but when I look back, I actually did, even if I keep forgetting that I did. But I made like 20 small prototypes before this game. Some of them I ended up releasing, a lot of them I didn't. And I think by doing those, because I keep forgetting about those projects. But yeah, no, I started small. And I wasn't proud of it. I wasn't proud of any of those games. But what it did teach me, it gave me an environment to cultivate those habits. And I think that's why that advice is useful. And I think now that I know that, I'm not as abrasive to the idea of starting small, because now I know what that actually does. I didn't know what that did before. The only thing I thought it did, because no one ever told me what starting small actually meant. They just say you start small because then if you fail, it's like not as big of a deal. And to me, it wasn't enough for me to consider that advice and take it seriously. Because it's like, well, yeah, but like if you don't venture out, then you don't gain anything. So that's why, like for me, being younger, more risk prone, like wanting to take more risk, the start small was the last thing I wanted to hear. But if someone told me that the reason you start small is because you as a human, well, me at least, I don't know, I think everyone can relate, but I'll just talk from my experience here, because I don't know what it is like for everyone. But me, as a human being, I am terrible at forming new habits. I find it incredibly difficult to form a new habit. And that's, I think, for me, because I haven't been burnt out since I started this project. Like, not big burnt, like not to the point where I wanted to stop the game. It's been a long time since that's happened to me, and I think the reason that is because right now, you know what I was gonna do tonight? I was gonna play Sonic Adventure tonight. Because it's Saturday, I was streaming the last 2 days up until 2 a.m. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just take a break. But for some reason, because I've been streaming weekly on Saturdays, I just naturally started working, because it's like a habit. Like, what time is it? It's 12 a.m. now, but at 10 o'clock, I was gonna like play some games before the stream, but I was curious about something I needed to fix, and I started working an hour earlier, because habitually, I've programmed myself to do that. And it's not even that I want to, it's just because I'm used to doing it, so I do it, and that's kind of why habits are important. So that's because I had that habit there that I think that's what streaming, honestly, for me, I didn't even know that this was helping, but it actually has helped now. Me doing streaming like this every Saturday, it's like I'm connecting the dots. That actually is the reason why like the game's been going pretty alright at the moment, because I programmed in that habit that Saturday night, you're gonna work for 4 hours, and you just keep doing that over and over, and you don't even think about it anymore. You don't even have to force yourself to do it. After you've done it enough times, you just do it. Like your brain will, enough neurons have linked together for you to expect you to do that and not complain. because that's kind of why habits. That's the purpose of habits. That's why they're so cool. So anyway, as someone who is terrible at forming new habits, I think that's what doing a small game is supposed to do. It's not about the game, and I think that's why I thought it was about the game when you're doing that stuff, and that's why I didn't like that advice, because I didn't like the output, the end result, because it's garbage. Like, my first game was like a third-person shooter with like a worm character. The AI was terrible, the sounds were terrible, everything was bad. I had fun making it, and then when I like tried to do more education stuff, I like made a 2D side-scroller, like a Flappy Birds clone. And that was the most boring project. And I hated it was so boring. Like, the final game was not something I was proud of. But now that I've had the benefit of hindsight, I think the advantage there is that it's not about the game when you do that first one. Doesn't matter. The point is, it's supposed to teach you, it's supposed to give you that experience of being habitual. I think that's what it's supposed to do. It forces you to stick to a schedule and to do it. And I think once you've lived through that, it makes tackling an MMO way easier in comparison to if you haven't done that. So I think that, because I used to hate the advice of start small, but if you think about it in the sense that it's not about the game when you start a small game, it's about building your muscle to build the habits you will need to tackle the big game you have in mind. When you think about it like that, all of a sudden, like if I needed to, I would go and do a small game if I heard that. If someone had told me that, that would have made me excited to do a Flappy Birds game. But no one told me that. I had to learn that on my own. But I don't know. I don't know if that's reflective of any of your experiences. But for me, I think that's kind of how I would approach starting. If you have no experience, starting small isn't the worst idea. And it's not because the game is easy and it's an easier project. The point is, you need to build the habits first before you can take on the work. Because the habits, doesn't matter how good you are at modeling, doesn't matter how good you are at coding. If you don't have habits to maintain and adapt, you will not finish. You will not make it. Now, you might look at me and say, well, Ray, you haven't shipped yet. Yes, that's true, but I haven't quit yet either. So just take that with a grain of salt. I haven't had that advice work to the extreme, to the extent that it took me to shipping, because this project still isn't done, but it's taking me to 3 years in, which is better than 3 months. So I will just say that. This is just my experience of being 3 months in development. Oh, sorry, no, 3 years in development. Not having shipped yet, but to get to 3 years, that's why. That's how I got there. Will it get me to shipping? Who knows? It may. It may not. But I think it's working, because here I am working on the game. And I haven't quit yet, so we'll see if that keeps working for the next couple years. But yeah. Sorry, there's my little monologue to you about how I think you should start game dev, now that I've had some time to think about it more. So I haven't read any of the chat messages on that. You made a game in 2017? Hell yeah, dude. Good. Deleted it? Yeah, I've had that happen to me. Oh, sorry, yeah. I missed some hydrates, boys. Oh, wow. You're young, dude. Don't worry, you got time. Don't worry about it. You know, yeah, I was just like you at 16, actually. This game I'm doing, like Project Feline, I wanted to make this when I was 12. But I was stupid, and I didn't know what to do. But here I am now, finally doing it. So, yeah, I think I get where you're coming from. I didn't realize you were 16. Oh, someone remember? Yeah, okay, so someone in here knows the tutorial the worm game. Yeah, the Tornado Twins. That's what I grew up with. We didn't have like brackies and stuff back in the day. That's all we had. We had the worm game from like, what, 2006. But yeah, Rith, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but what you need, here's what I will tell you to do. I want you to ask, why do you want to make an MMO? I won't be able to answer that for you, but I think you'll be able to answer that. Because maybe it's not an MMO you want to even make. Because when I was your age, I knew I wanted to make this kind of Project Feline game. I had no idea why I wanted to make it. But now I do know, and it is a huge help to know why you want to do it. So while you're young, because you've got time like time to do this stuff. What you should be doing, divide your time amongst like a few different things. I want you to like really think about why this, because I'm guessing it's because you play MMOs and you want to make a game like the MMOs you play. And if that's the case, I want you to figure out, why do I enjoy these games? Like, get really deep down. Why do I enjoy these? What feelings does this game give me that I want to give in my game? I don't know, because I don't play MMOs, so I'm just going to guess. Because the reason doesn't have to be a complicated reason. It can just be, I like the feeling of progression when I get a new mount. Or I like the feeling of being able to customize my outfit. Or I like the teamwork in doing a raid. Like, it could be that. But you need to know what it is. It doesn't have to be like this deep, fancy reason about the story. It could be, but it doesn't have to be. It can be whatever reason you want. Just as long as there is a reason, that's good. If you don't know why you like MMOs, then you will not make a good MMO. So there's that. And then make something, build those habits, and those will help you. They've helped me. Do they help everyone? I don't know. I can't speak for everyone, but I know for me, building the habits helped, and knowing why I wanted to make what I want also helped. And you've got so much time to think about that and figure that out, which is great. So go for it. 2000. Oh yeah, a 16-year-old would be born in 2006. Wow, that's so crazy that a person born in 2006 would be 15 or 16 now. Wow. Yeah, wow. I feel so ancient. But yeah, the journey. Good, Mr. Thomas. I like that. The journey is also important. How do I model so good? Oh, I don't know if I model so good, but just it took me a long time to learn that. A lot of practice. Gabby was actually the first humanoid I've modeled, and I'm actually kind of want to redo it, but I don't know if I'll get time. But this took 6 months of dedicated, like on-the-job learning to do Gabby's character. So it's not easy. It took 6 months, which is like a ridiculous amount of time to spend on a character. Well, I mean, that's actually not quite true. I spent 6 months making the character and making 5 videos about the character. So when you add that in, it expands. If I didn't make videos about it, it would have taken 3 months. But anyway, let me just quickly get back on track here, because I've been staring at this graph and doing not much for the last 10 minutes. But I like these. I like these kind of discussions there, because this is like reminding me of when I was 16 and what I wanted. So it's kind of cool. I feel like I have an opportunity now to kind of impart my knowledge now to someone, which is kind of neat. I feel like now that I've been doing this for a bit, I think I used to not like people asking me for advice because I didn't really know what to say. But I think, I don't know, I think if I was asking me for advice, that's what I would say. Who knows, maybe in 5 years I'll be wrong, but for now, that's what I've got. I don't know what Hypixel is. Oh, thanks, Thomas. Yeah, I mean, I would say, yeah, it's definitely weirder doing it on your own. Not that I'm complaining, but it that also does like change the rules a bit. So yeah, because I think even the techniques that I was doing from Guilty Gear, because I did a lot of research about that before I started Gabby, and the guys who did the Guilty Gear characters, like those dudes were like, they were like professional, experienced, 15 years in the industry animators. They had done traditional animation for 15 years and then did the Guilty Gear characters. And they spent 2 months on each character. And I think I actually did the maths. The actual hours I spent on Gabby totaled up, it's like about 2 months or 3 months of actual work. But a lot of that 6 months, because the reason it was spread over 6 months is because there's a certain time for like research, there's time for the model going wrong and fixing stuff, and there's learning Blender, because I also hadn't really used Blender before, so I had to learn Blender, learn how to make this kind of character, and then actually make the character, and then make videos about making the character in 6 months for the first time. These guys at Arc System Works, 15 years in the industry, veterans in animation, spent 2 months, because they had their character team was 3 people, and each of them spent 2 months on each character model to do the design, the modeling, the animation, and everything. So I think in that, I don't think I did so bad, considering that the actual model itself only took 1 month more than it would have taken an Arc System Works guy, and I'm just some guy in my room. I'm not like an Arc System Works industry vet. But also I am working on their shoulders because I'm learning that I'm using their own techniques that they probably had to spend time learning how to do to make those. So I am standing on the shoulders of giants there. But considering that it only took me an extra month as not anyone with 15 years experience in anything, I think it's not so bad in that perspective. Because 6 months, it does sound ridiculous. But when you put it in that frame, I don't think it's as egregious. So anyway. And yeah, character modeling is so much harder than well, actually, because I prefer character modeling than environment stuff, like not like buildings. I don't like doing environment modeling. It's boring for me. I like doing characters, but it is hard. It is really hard. Anyway, sorry, I was. Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. Set inputs. Sorry, I'm gonna get on with the system now, guys, but. I hope that all of that was helpful to Rit. I'm gonna call you Rit because I don't know how to pronounce the rest of your name. But yeah, I hope that was helpful for you, man. But hey, look, you're young. You got time. You can, if you want to start an MMO, who am I to stop you? Go for it. You've got time. Go for it. Will it work out? Who knows? Maybe it will. And if it doesn't, it's okay, because you've got so much time on your hands. It's okay if it doesn't work. You will learn something. Even if it does terribly, you will absolutely learn something. And if there's anything I will tell anyone, it's that experience, there's no substitute for on-hand experience. Way more valuable than anything, in my opinion. But hey, that's just a theory. A Ray theory. Thanks for watching. That's how I should, like, anytime someone asks me a question now, that's gonna be my conclusion. Just to avoid all accountability, I just say, well, hey, here's something I think, but hey, that's just a theory. Accountability avoided. Please no. A ray trace theory. Oh, good one. Anyway. Okay, I think those are all set. I just don't know what's supposed to come after this thing. Let me check the other blueprint. Ah, okay. Okay. Let's move this boy close to the action. So this is the restart button. So what this should do, I don't know, let's just plug it in and see what happens. So what should happen when I restart the Oh, okay, well that works. Cool. So if I'm in a mission, Ah, haha. Okay. So, so the spawning thing I just did works, but it keeps the mission active. So if I click restart, it'll put me back at the start of the mission. So let me load it back in. So that works. Restarting works. It's just the actual mission still doesn't. And then there's this thing. I don't know what's this error. Widget cannot be used on player controller with no attached player. What does that mean? Show me where this is. Player controller with no attached player. What does this mean? It must mean that I'm trying to create a widget somewhere. What is this? I don't know what any of this means. Oh, maybe it's because maybe I do this first and then the other part. Okay, no errors that time, so that's great. So yeah, we need to do this part after all of this stuff, because it removes the widget, which kind of like, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, welcome. Hey, look, man, look, I get it, but don't like promote stuff on my chat. That's against the rule. We don't do that. If you want to stream, get people who are interested, but you don't push that here. But if it's like Project Feline related, we have in the Discord and the subreddit, you can post there. So that's where to go. Okay. So, how are we gonna reset the mission? What do you think? So, yeah, we're gonna have to like, okay. We're gonna need to get the current, so I have to use something with this and tell it. I don't really have like a reset. I think I call it call on, what if I do this, call on start mission? Like if I just do that, what'll happen? And I just realized, maybe we can skip this whole part and put this here. And then plug this in. So I can probably skip a lot of this. So we'll give that a go. Alright, so if I hit restart, oh damn it. So that doesn't, no, that doesn't. Why did I think that would work? Alright, so we can't do it that way. Maybe I have to, maybe this. Oh, here it is. Call on end mission. Let's see what happens. Move this over. Okay. Do that instead. I feel like maybe I should have made like a function called reset mission that just like starts it over. But, well, I guess I'm stuck with the consequences of my actions here for not thinking ahead. But let's see what happens if I call end the mission. Oh. Alright, okay. Maybe I should program in like an on restart mission to the base thing. trying to think how that, because you can't call end mission because that'll get the results screen and we don't want that, so we can't use this. But there needs to be like a restart sort of deal. So how am I gonna even do? How do I even approach that? Because the components are gonna need to like, I'm gonna have to do a lot. This actually might be a bit of a bigger job than what I was set in for, because we're gonna basically have to tell the other components how to restart as well. But what we'll go back to on start mission because I just want to test something. Because what I want it to do is like reset the state of everything back. I'm gonna have to take a look at something. So I need to go to core engine components. Oh no, not there. I think it's just Feline missions time. I'm just gonna look at what the time trial does, because it needs to basically re-trigger this stuff, which it does, but okay. So, yeah, there might be on like metrics themselves. I need to have like, okay, this might be a bit of a big job here. Essentially, what's going through my head is that I'm wanting to re-trigger this stuff when you restart. Because what this does, it activates the checkpoint sequence, it binds everything, and then it creates the watch on the top of the screen. But here's the thing, it's doing that, but, like, it'll do it, but it's, if it's binding it again, it's not going to do anything, and it's not going to reset the sequence, because it's occurred to me now that I didn't account for that in the base class. So I'm going to have to do some more work on the base class. So I'm going to have to open up, wherever it is, core engine components, and I don't know how easy this will be because I guess it'll depend on the metric. The checkpoint sequence might be the harder one. Collectible count will be easy. The watch should be easy. The collectible, the sequence, checkpoint sequence may be a difficult one to get working in this regard. But we'll get started on that because there's nothing else we can do really. Oh hey, Graphy. Yes, we did manage to fix it. But, well, now we're having more problems. Let me sit up. So yeah, we fixed the UI metrics updating. As you can see, the metrics themselves update properly. We have the speedometer in the corner, we have the health in the corner, we have the watch, and that all works. And that's great. But we're trying to make it so that we can restart a mission without loading the entire level again. And at the moment, if I click it, the character will respawn, but the mission will not reset. It'll still think we're in the mission. And that's a no. We do not want that. And I'm gonna have to add in a whole other new event to be able to get this to work how I want. So, very fun. But yes, to answer your question, we did fix that problem. So thank goodness. But there is always more. There's always something else. So we're gonna need to create a new dispatcher, and you can probably see I have quite a fair few many already. We need to call it on reset widget. I think actually, we might not even need to do that. Because I do remember there was some little thing I did. Yeah, on activate, on start value, which kind of does reset it. So maybe we don't need that. Okay. So maybe it's not going to be that hard, but maybe it is. Let me just think for a second. Because what we essentially need to do... What was that? Real? I thought, no, well, hold on. You said you were gonna go. You said you were gonna leave. But here you are. You came back. Thanks so much for the gift. Ritku, whatever your name is. You are now a sub. Welcome. You came back. Dude, Real. You're too nice. You're being way too generous. But Ritku, whatever you... Rit. I'm gonna call you Rit because it's like one syllable and I like one syllable names. You're now in the sub club. You're now in the Ray's bedroom club. Congratulations. Thanks so much, Real. Appreciate it. You can now Discord. Indeed. Discord, the verb. Imagine if, yeah, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if the word Discord became a verb at some point. Like when people would Skype people. We're gonna Discord people now. I'm surprised that's not already a thing. Is that already a thing? I don't think it's a thing. It surprises me that it's not already a thing. People used to, Skype became a verb. Why has Discord not become a verb? I'm no English major literature fancy person here, but I think Discord should be a verb. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. So I think, yeah, I'm gonna have to do like a tutorial on how to get the Discord access. But you gotta have your accounts linked. I should really just do a pre-recorded thing because I've had to explain this like what 5 times now because of all the new subs. Thank you, by the way, Real. But for the 5th time, you gotta link your accounts, and then in the connections menu on Discord, you will have, once the account is linked, you will have the magic portal awaiting you, and then you will teleport right through that door. And then you can come, you can knock me out, you can yank my hard drive out, and you can ship Project Feline. And you see how fun it is. A Discord call. Yeah, that's funny, isn't it? Why did Skype become a verb, and why didn't Discord? I don't understand. Maybe it's because Discord is 2 syllables? Because Skype is an easier thing to say, it's just 1 syllable. Oh, we're gonna Skype. We're gonna Skype. Like, it's not like a... We're gonna Discord, because it's like 2 syllables. And I think we can all collectively agree that having a 2-syllable verb is cringe. So, I don't know, that's my game theory on that. So what if Discord was not named Discord? Maybe it would have become a verb, who knows? Can't friend. Yeah, if you mean on Discord, yeah, I don't do that. I don't really use Discord for friends and stuff. I just use it to run that server. I'm not a Zoomer, okay? I'm not like the hip cool. I'm not like hip cool like you 16-year-olds, all right? You know, I don't do the DMs. I don't like DMing people. I don't even DM like even like close to me people. I just don't like. I don't know. I prefer to talk to them. I don't like DMs. So yeah, I'm not a DM kind of guy. But the server is basically like one big group chat, I suppose. So I guess that's the closest. That's pretty close. I feel more comfortable with a group, like a group company anyway. I'm not a good one-on-one person when it comes to DMs. Slack. Oh my god, I remember Slack. I actually used to think that Slack and Discord were like the same thing, because the layouts were used to be very similar, but they are not the same thing. Google and Skype are made up words. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Back on track here. I have to think about this thing that... Because, okay, so I was like in the middle of a sentence and then I remember I went completely off track there with all the new subs. But anyway, back on track. So the thing I was going to show you guys just now is that the metric component itself has an event called onActivate. And when you activate a component, and I think I added this like a few days ago. I remember you guys, if you were here like on Thursday, you would have watched me set this up, of having a from start value. And what that should do is, we got, what's going on now? Something, oh my god, we have a raid. We have a raid. Wow, 46, this is the biggest raid we've had in a while. Well, it looks like... Let's just put this to the side for the moment. I'm gonna have to do an intro for everyone now. Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier, and welcome to Project Feline, the best game on the planet. That is right. You are rating the official real channel of Markiplier. With me, Markiplier. What do you mean I don't look... Yeah, I'm the real Markiplier. What do you mean? Of course I'm the real Markiplier. And I endorse this game, Project Feline, that I happen to be developing. And, so... Yeah, 46. Okay, we're gonna have to do some explaining here. So Project Feline. What is Project Feline? I'm gonna have to open a build that isn't gonna crash when I launch the game. Give me one moment. Project Feline is a movement game. It's like a movement platformer. It's like if you took Titanfall, but made it a 3D platformer with a very cool character design. It's like if you took a Titanfall 3D platformer with like a 2000s mascot. That's Project Feline. That's what it's all about. Let me find a build that will work, and I'll show you what Project Feline is. Thank you, Lind. I don't know how to pronounce your name, I'm sorry. But the raid leader over here, thank you so much. Appreciate it. So let me full screen this for you, gentlemen. And I'll show you a level of Project Feline. I'll show you what it's about. When I say Titanfall movement, I'm not kidding. I actually remade the Titanfall movement myself. Do you see that slide? You guys ever played Apex Legends before? You know the slide mechanic? Yeah, that's the exact same slide mechanic. I'm not even kidding, it's the exact same. But it's in a way cooler game because you're not gonna have cheaters and weird, you're not gonna have like a full lobby of 100 players because it's a single player game. So we don't have any of that nonsense going on. It's just nice, fun movement. So you can wall run, you can slide, you can grind on rails, you can climb, you can grab ledges, you can basically do anything. You can do whatever you want. You can also fly, but we'll get into that in a second. But I'll give you a demonstration. So this is Gabby, by the way. For those who are new, this is Gabby, the feline. She is a weird genetic... This is like the timeline where Elon Musk succeeds in making the Catgirl race. Except it isn't as adorable of an idea as we think, because Gabby is deeply troubled, and she needs to go on an adventure to resolve her inner turmoil. And she does that by running on walls and being awesome. Because Gabby is half feline and half human, she has these cool abilities and like really hyper agility. So she can run on walls and all that stuff because she's like this cool genetic experiment. But being a genetic experiment does not, it's got its perks, but it's not always a good thing necessarily. But that's getting into story territory, and I'm not allowed to talk about that right now. But in due time, if you follow the project, you will see that unfold in the coming months. So here's the grind rail system. We can grind on rails, and that has dynamic momentum as well. So it's not like that Ratchet and Clank rail grind where it's like at a set speed. It's dynamic. So if I go uphill, it actually goes like really slow. But if I go down the stairs, watch that. It's really fast. Pretty cool. So we can use Gabby's abilities to kind of traverse these levels. And a lot of people... Oh, I fell off. A lot of people seem to enjoy speedrunning this game, I've noticed. On the subreddit, people are like daily now. There's like this one guy who's like obsessively speedrunning one of the levels, and I've noticed, and it gives me a lot of anxiety because I spend months on these levels, and I cry inside when someone can beat them in like 30 seconds. But it is cool, I do appreciate it. But yeah, you can speedrun this game, it is speedrunner friendly. You can also play it for as long as you want. I'm not here to tell you how to play it, but yeah, just have fun. So you can grind, you can wall run, you can climb. And in this level, because I have a few different types of levels, and that's the kind of, at the state, because the project right now is nowhere near finished. We have a lot of work to do on it still. A lot of the work is going to be in content creation, level design. And I am not a level designer, so I've been having to do a lot of work to learn how to do all that stuff. And there's been lots of things about the kinds of levels we should be making. So this level right here, this is one of the first levels I made, and it's like a linear kind of level. It's like very straightforward. There's a few other types of levels as well. So there we go, I finished the first level in 3 minutes. But we have a few other types of levels. We have this this is one of the more recent level I've done, which is not as linear. It's kind of more of like an urban playground with like a fun it's like a collectathon. So in this level, this is the other level of the game, you've got these characters, and it's like an NPC mission. And this guy, this is like the mechanic, Calder the mechanic, who is from the animal world, and he is giving us a task to collect parts in this city. So as Gabby, with our epic cool abilities, we will traverse through this map and collect all 45 of these little glowing orbs, which I will replace with models at some point. But we got to collect them all in under 5 minutes. And we have to use our momentum and build a momentum and maintain momentum to get that mission done in time. And yeah, so this is kind of this is what Project Feline's about right now. It's still in like pre-alpha. We haven't started on, well, actually, you know, I would say we kind of have started on alpha now, I guess, in a very informal. It's hard for me to judge because, you know, big AAA studios have a very clear when each phase starts. But I'm just like a guy, so I don't really know exactly when the phases begin and end. It just feels like one big blur. But I would say the kind of work I'm doing now fits into like alpha, sort of alpha development stuff, production sort of stuff. So it's not in beta. A lot of people seem to think it's in beta. It is not in beta yet. I have free public builds out for it, which kind of is a beta, but it's not like... I just do that because I just need feedback. It's not like an official beta test. It's just like me doing very iterative testing early on. So I guess it is kind of a beta, but there will be like an actual beta like later on. It's like a pre-alpha beta, which is like the most word salad word I think I've said today. But yeah, so this level, as you can see, it's a little different. It's not really about speed. Well, it is, but it's not like the same kind of speed. It's not about getting to the end of the level. It's more about finding and exploring. And I think that's another part of the game that I want to nurture more, like that exploration, because it's weird, like, I don't really know exactly what people enjoy when I make stuff, because I can't judge it that well. But people have told me that they like Gabby's movement and that they like exploration as well, and they like speedrunning. So what my efforts at the moment are working towards is trying to figure out a way to satisfy all three of those criteria. And we'll see what happens there, I guess. So now I've collected all of those orbs, I can go back to Calder with them, and boom, mission complete. It took me a little bit longer than normal, so I got silver rank for that mission. But there's some guy on the subreddit the other day completed this mission in like 1 minute and 15 seconds. And I may have cried myself to sleep when I saw that, because it took me so long to make this map, and I saw him like complete it in less than 2 minutes, and I'm like, oh my god, slow down. But yeah, so there's a little demonstration of what Project Feline is. If you want to know more about Project Feline, I do have a devlog series on YouTube, which is probably where most of you have heard of this project. If you type my name into YouTube, Raymond Cripps, you will see a 30+ part series of going all the way back to like day one of development of how it's been for me. It's been like 3 years, I think, since this has been in development, and I've tried to document as much as I can, but the entire journey is on YouTube in like a nice little video format. There will be a new episode coming soon. The episodes for the last year have taken a bit longer to make because of the development. We're not really in like the fun prototype stage now. A lot of the work I do tends to take longer now because you need to make it polished enough for shipping. So the videos themselves take a bit longer to come out, but I hopefully they hit harder as a result, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so yeah, smash subscribe, hit the bell icon, all that good stuff. You know what to do. You know how it is. You know how to work. You know how to make YouTubers happy. But if you want to check out my series, I'll link you my YouTube in case you can't be bothered to type it in because I'm so nice. YouTube.com/Raymond Cripps. And you will see the entire start, like from the beginning to now, you'll see the entire saga. We can call it a saga. It's been going on long enough. We can call it a saga. You don't do bell. I think actually YouTube actually removed the bell icon, so I feel very embarrassed now because the next video that comes out is gonna ask you to hit the bell icon. but there is no bell icon anymore. So, you know, it's like when you watch a YouTube video and it tells you to subscribe and they point up, because that's not what the subscribe button is, silly. But that's where it was in 2010. So, you know. Oh, it still has a bell? Well, then you know what to do. You gotta smash that bell. Smash that bell icon. Yeah, see, I don't have the bell, so maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm on a different version of YouTube, but I don't get the bell icon. I just have the subscribe button. I don't get the bell. Oh, ratings, dude. I missed that. I actually kind of thought that was pretty neat. But yeah, anyway, let's not get into the debate about YouTube dislikes. I'm not like a YouTuber. I make YouTube videos, but it's not like my main job, so I don't really care. But as long as I can talk about my game on YouTube, I'm happy. But I don't like make enough from it for it to be like a full-time thing for me to worry about it as much. Because my main job is actually making a game to make videos on. So that's, yeah. But hey, no one can dislike my videos now, so maybe it is a good thing. I'm just kidding. But yeah, there's for you raiders, that's what I'm all about. So there you go. There's Project Feline. You can barely beat Skyport. Well, you're not trying hard enough. That's obviously why. But yeah, the star rating system, I don't know, mate. I don't know. It's probably a reason that all changed. What kind with star ratings? I prefer because I know that like different you've got like 10 stars and you got 5 stars. Like you got like, you know, different ratings. Like when it comes to like numeric ratings, like 1 out of 10 or whatever, I don't like 10. I like 1 out of 5 because 10 is too many choices for me. If you ask me on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna stop you and say, no, you don't need 10. Give me a 1 to 5 and I'll give you my 1 to 5 rating of something. Because I don't know, what's the difference between a 6 and a 7? I don't know. But a difference between a 4 and a 5, now that's, you know, that's something. Or a difference between a 3 and a 4. But a difference between like a 7 and an 8 isn't, I don't know, I don't think it's a big of a deal. It's not significant enough for me to like put in the brain power to think, am I 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10? Do I rate this? I don't know. I prefer the 5 instead. So that's kind of, yeah, maybe YouTube's rating, maybe that's why I like that system, because it was 5. 5 is a good number. But if you don't give someone a 4 or 5, you might hurt, well, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know. Anyway, now that I've got that out of the way, and you guys are all here, we'll get back to work now on the actual game. So this thing I'm gonna do, with restarting the mission. Let me just think, because I was in the middle of explaining something, and I've been interrupted twice now, so let me try and recollect my thoughts here. So, we were gonna do something where the, oh, damn it, I can't remember. We were gonna do something where, sorry, my brain's just blank. Restarting mission, being able to reset metrics, which I think you should, yeah, so I think you can do it, but not, okay. I think what I need to do is, maybe, okay, I think I might figure out, I think my brain is going now. I think I know what I need to do here. I need to make an event dispatcher on the mission component and call on reset mission. And we need to, events to occur when resetting mission. And then what next? We need, okay, because the way I'm thinking about it is there's something I'm doing here where it tells it to start like from I don't know how long this will take, but first let's bind the event. Because what we essentially need to do is we need to basically have an event and it gets all of the components on that mission and starts them over from the beginning. That's basically it. The spawning is fine, that works, but the actual mission events need to go back to step 1. That's what needs to happen. Now, it appears to me that I think I've already kind of done that. Like the actual base metric component, which is how everything in the system works. Like this metric component controls like the watch, the collectible counter, time limits, all of that stuff is managed through this base class. So what we need to do is that we need to get it so that it calls on activate with starting value ticked on. So we need an event that calls that somewhere. And that's going to be this new thing I'm making, this new dispatcher called on reset mission. And that'll get, what that should do is it should get all of the metrics and say, hey, reset. And then that should basically do the equivalent of resetting the mission without having to load it back in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's how it's gonna work. So with that in mind, let's get a moving. So I'm gonna have to reorganize some of this junk. I have to rearrange some nodes because I like putting this in a certain order. So on mission started, on end mission, on mission ended. Okay, maybe I do need one more. On reset mission, on mission reset. I usually, for this type of stuff, I'll make 2 dispatches. 1 to as like a push, like an event to happen before and an event to happen after. Because I don't know how to eloquently explain it. But doing it like this, for this specific use case, having 2 events bound to something, because one of them will happen after the other, and for certain things, you want a delay, and you want stuff to happen after the other. It's complicated, but just trust me, it'll work. So, yeah. Just give me a moment. I gotta check something. What did I... Start mission. Reset mission. Okay, yeah, okay. So I need to make another custom event. Mission reset. Cool, 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 cool. Alright. Now. I just gotta slot these in to begin play in the right spot. So we'll put these after, yeah, let me just move all this. But I'll put it in here. Right here, there we go. Boom. Now we take these boys. Let's move them down here. To reset mission. Let me just think. We're gonna well. I guess we will. I guess, like, we'll just do that. I don't know if this will be enough, but let's just keep it at that for the moment. Now I'll compile that, and I need to go to one of the actual missions. So I need to go to, oh yes, we'll open the time trial, and what I should be able to do now that I have that dispatcher is I should be able to go and scroll down, and here we go. Yeah, on reset mission. We click on that, we add a new event called on reset mission. And we will call this, yeah, so real quick, I'm gonna jump into another blueprint now and, excuse me, make sure that the restart button calls this. But I can't seem to find, I had it. I swear I had it open, right? The pause menu. Oh yeah, no, here it is. So yeah, instead of on start mission, we go call on res. Oh wait, I gotta get the thing. I get the reference. Call on reset mission. There we go. So we'll do this instead. Kablam. Oh come on, plug in. There we go. Where is this supposed to plug into? Oh, yeah, it's supposed to like plug in here, I think. There we go. Yeah, cool. So now, hitting reset, well, it'll do something. Let's just say. So it still works. Cool, we can still respawn. But the, of course, the actual mission will still keep going. And we have a bunch of errors now. I'm going to ignore those for the moment, because I don't know why this is happening, but just ignore that. Actually, we might be able to skip actually a lot of this. Yeah, no, wait a sec. Yeah, no. We can actually skip like all of this, now that I think about it. Yeah. So all we got to do is like just plug that directly in here. I think that's actually it. Oh, no, we do have to do that cast. Okay, we need the cast, but where this goes, we can actually skip. Because I think that might cause problems, yeah. So let's try that now and see if that still works. Okay, still, if I hit restart. Oh, okay, well it doesn't. Okay, I see. All right, maybe, okay. Well, let's go back. Let's hop back over to what I was doing. So when reset mission happens, well, let me look. Reset mission. So it'll call start mission, and start mission should already respawn the player. So I don't know. Start. Yeah. So that's why I unplugged all that spawning stuff, because that should actually already happen in start mission. So that's one of the reasons. But to do this, so when mission is reset, we basically need to get like the watch and call on activate. And we basically need to plug some of these in. Looks a bit messy, but bear with me. So we need to get those. Oh, hold on. It's getting a bit spaghetti looking. And then we need to make sure that this tick box right here, on starting value, is ticked on. That's gonna be what that's gonna be the thing. Okay, that's gonna be what makes this work. But there is we also need to get the checkpoint sequence. Oh, wait a moment. Okay, what is this? Wait a sec, what does this mean? Oh, this is like a different, wait, no, hold on a moment. Wait, oh. Yes, okay, here we go, yeah, I found it. So we need to do this as well. We need to set update. Wait a sec. Call on updates. Well, I think that's what we want, actually. But this worries me. I don't know what this is supposed to be. Progress point. Oh. Okay, wait a sec. Call, on, I think, oh, okay, so I think what I need to do is unbind it. I think that's, okay, I think this is it. Let's try it, see what happens. So if I hit restart, all of these, oh, wait a sec. All of these, no, something's broken. Something... Well, hold on, this isn't... Not completely doomed. Okay. This is getting kind of weird. I kind of broke the checkpoint system, but also made the restart work. So, okay, so for those who don't quite get what's going on here, it's not very obvious, so I'll explain. See up in the top, it says it's counting 20 seconds, 21, 22. Now you'll notice when I touch these checkpoints, they change color. When I touch the start one, it turns transparent. If I touch these ones, they turn green. And also, for some reason... Yeah, okay. Now watch this. You see 10, 11, 12? Watch this. I'll hit restart. It'll go back to 0, and the checkpoints will reset. So far, that is good. But, the checkpoint sequence, because they're not all supposed to be spawned at the same time. They're supposed... Okay, wait. No, I think I understand. I think there's a... It's not firing an event properly. Yeah, it's not calling mission started, and it should be. That's why. Yeah, okay, I understand now. So, okay. When yeah, no, hold on, because that should be, reset mission. I'm so confused here. Wait, let me just read. Maybe I bound it to the wrong thing. But when on reset mission, and reset mission does that. Maybe I'm calling the wrong thing. It's possible. On the, I think I can get rid of this. I can leave that. I'll leave. Do I need this open? I don't think I do. I'll leave this one open. I've got a lot of stuff open, so I'm just like trying to sort through it. But yeah, so it's the the pause menu on reset mission. Okay, so it is calling the right event, but for whatever reason, this is not happening. Let's do a print. Profile the mission active. Okay. Oh, okay. So, oh, what does this mean? Access to none. Oh. Okay, something's wrong. Oh, I know why. Yeah, no, don't worry about that. I know why that did the thing. Yeah, so I need to do I gotta do a lot of those invalids. Is valid. I need to put one of those to stop that bug. That's why it's being difficult. So is valid, then you can do that. And if it's not valid, well, make another one of these. And hopefully that's all the is valids I will need to do. So yeah, when I hit restart, it resets the mission, kind of. Okay, maybe, to make it go, okay, so there's a few little more, there's a bit more I need to do there, I think. So I need to, I need to do like something like this. I think this is not the way I want to do it, but I feel like this might work. Okay, yeah, no, why is it still... It's not supposed to spawn them all at once. It's supposed to spawn them one at a time. But if I hit reset... Okay, so that kind of does work. Kind of. Oh, okay. Now it's working properly when I restart. So if I hit restart again, it won't respawn me for whatever reason, but it resets the mission. But when I start the mission the first time, it doesn't work anymore now. That's weird. I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe if I take this off, I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so Ah, okay, okay. I think I understand what's happening. Okay, let me just play through it a few more times. Oh, let me try that over. Let me just, my brain needs to process this. So if I start, if I go restart, it won't respawn me, but it'll set everything back to how it was. Okay. What if I do this? Okay. So here's the problem. If because what I'm thinking is, when you reset a mission, it should do stuff, and then it should call start mission again. Because start mission has a lot of stuff in there that needs to happen. Like, setting the mission state as active, or... Actually, you know, maybe not. Maybe not that. Whatever I was gonna say. But what I was gonna say was, like, stuff like this, like respawning the character binding events properly and doing all the HUD widget stuff, like that should happen. But I think for this specific mission... Okay. So... How to explain... So it does, okay, so it does need to activate on mission start when reset is called. But the problem is, if I do that, actually, wait one moment. Because, yeah, what I was going to say is, if I do that, it doesn't work. Because that's what happened. Like, if I go to the, whatever it was that I can't even find where it is now. Yeah, so if I tell it when reset mission, if it then triggers start mission, then that thing happens where it spawns all of the checkpoints at once when I restart. Or does it? Actually, no, okay, that seems to have fixed now for some reason. Okay, cool. But what I was gonna say is, I might need to take, okay, I need to delete these, and I need to delete this. And I need to delete that, and I need to, okay. So I think the only thing I might actually need here is this boy. I just need to reset the checkpoint sequence. And then it should do this part and rebind it. Okay. But I also need to deactivate the watch, I think. So this needs to deactivate. But yes, yeah. See, this is what I was saying. So what happens now is, like, when you start the mission the first time, and if you do it the way I just did it, it like breaks how it first starts. These should all not spawn at once. They should spawn in a sequence. But if I hit restart, oh, now it will not do that. Okay. 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 I'm gonna have to do a bit more. It's gonna not be. This isn't an easy. This is not gonna be easy. But I think I understand a few things I will need to do. I will need to add another boolean to this deactivate node. I will need to check something else real quick as well. I need to check the start. Where is it? Where is it? Progress points. Where is it? I thought it was in this folder. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So I need to check something here. Okay, so it is doing from start value. Cool. Right. Okay, I don't need to touch that at all, it turns out. Just trying to collect my thoughts here. It's Saturday, I'm tired, my brain's not as efficient. But for this to work, we're gonna need deactivate needs to be able to reset metric. Because you can do that when you activate a component, but not when you deactivate one. And I don't know what else. I think that might be it for now. I don't know how quickly I can add that. Because yeah, so what I mean by that is, you see here where it says on activate, there's this thing here called load value, and then there's another one called from starting value. Now, this only works when you're turning this component on. If you switch it on, you can tell it to switch on, but there's a few arguments. Because the thing is, during a mission, you may want to turn the watch off for whatever reason. And you can. And it'll pause it, basically. It'll just stop it running, but it'll keep the value in there. Now, if you have this value ticked on, when you reactivate it, it will start from 0, or whatever the starting value is. It'll reset. But what I want to do here is when I turn it off, I want it to reset, not when I turn it on. So I need to add that tick box to the turning off part, so that when I turn the watch off, it will set it back to the starting value. So that when I restart the mission, it'll restore itself back to the beginning. That's what needs to happen. And what else? Because there's another problem with the checkpoint sequence component. And I think, let me have a look at that, because that's the more complicated one. So if I get the checkpoint sequence, because this is a relatively newer component. I did this one yesterday, I think. So if I open this, edit blueprint, because this isn't a metric, this is just its own thing. So it can update, it can bind and unbind. But yeah, it doesn't have any reset functionality. Well, I mean, it kind of does, but not in the way I want. Because I think the way this works is, when you unbind something, which is what's supposed to happen here, that's like the reset state. But let me try and remember. I feel like this blueprint had more going on. I feel like this is supposed to be bigger, but I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering. Oh yeah. So I think the way this works is if you... Oh, you know, I wrote this yesterday and I can't remember how this works. But when you on-update, and if it's... No, that's not it. It's all this, it's this stuff. It's... Oh, wait, no, yeah, what's this? It says reset. What does this mean? See, yeah, I knew I added something. I added something in here. Bind. Oh, okay. Okay. So, I think to fix that issue I had where the checkpoints they would all stay shown. Maybe I've already... no, wait a sec. Yeah, hold on. If I tick that on... Well, actually, either way it should work, but we'll try it with it ticked on and see what happens. Yeah, no, okay, that still doesn't work. Wait, no, hold on, wait, maybe it does work. Okay. So this, for whatever reason, needs to be ticked on, but it only works like when you restart the mission. It doesn't work when you launch the mission for some reason. So that's really weird. So that's problematic. So I'll write that down so I remember. This might be next time, or, well, you know, I'm gonna work on this throughout the week. So by next stream, we should have this finished. Fix checkpoint reset. because that's not really working how I expect it to work. So there needs to be a reset state in the metric, and there needs to be a reset state on the checkpoint. And I think that'll do it for me. I'm starting to lose focus now. I'm getting tired. How long have I? 2.5 hours. Oh yeah, that's not bad. Oh, thanks for the hydrate. Before I go, if you guys have any like last minute Q&A questions, it's been a while since I guess we've done like a little Q&A. If you have like anything you want to ask me about the game before I head off, feel free. Do I use gameplay tags? Maybe like once. I think I used them once for something, but no, not really. I haven't really thought of a use for them, I guess. But yeah, thanks for the hydrate, man. Alright. Well, yeah, I'm getting a bit tired. That'll be it, boys. Thanks for sticking around, watching me go insane in front of my computer. Thanks, Real FD, if he's still here. I don't know if he's still here or not, but thanks for all those subs, man. That's very generous. All the new subs, I want to welcome you. You're part of the club now, I guess. Oh, what's this? Will your game... What? Will be in your... Wait. Will be in your Game 3 Titans. What? I have no idea what you're asking me. How wild would you want the soundtrack? I don't know what you mean by wild. Describe what's wild. Tell me what wild is. I think we might have very different ideas of what wild is. What's wild to you? Okay. I don't think I'd go that far. I don't think I'd go that Jet Set Radio far. But, excuse me, ironically enough, I think the last soundtrack demo I did kind of came off very Jet Set Radio-y sounding. But I don't know if that's the direction I'm going to keep going, because things change, like scopes, levels. I think the level design is going to influence how I continue doing music for the game. So I can't, it's hard to say, but the last demo I did, I'll link that to you. That's kind of what the last demo sounded like, and I think that sounded probably the most Jet Set Radio sounding out of all of them, but I don't know if I'm gonna... I think I'm gonna mellow it down a little bit compared to that. But it'll be cool. Like, it's not that... I guess... I have like a big playlist of all the music that is similar to what I'm going for, and there's a bit of a mix. There's a few Jet Set Radio songs in there, but there's also a lot of like ambient music, and then there's like stuff with beats and stuff. I guess the thing is, because usually I'm very like ham on percussion. That's just like my natural tendency, and I think I'm gonna have to dial it back a little to fit the game, because I don't want it to be... I guess, yeah, it depends a lot on the level design and how that pans out. Because if it's like more exploratory, I don't think Jet Set Radio fast beats are gonna mesh well. You want something a bit more relaxed for that. But yeah, it'll depend on how that goes. But I don't know, there's a soundtrack demo there to kind of give you, because at least I've got something to show. But this is it's a sketch, it's an idea. I've got a few other demos up there too as well, if you want to check them out. On a scale of Sonic Adventure to Jet Set Radio, where would you place? I don't know. It's because it's, I don't know. That's a hard question, because I'm not really making either of those games. I would probably say it's somewhere in the middle, I think, between those two. But I haven't played a lot of either of them. It's funny, because the people seem to think I have, but as much of a Sonic fan as I am, I wasn't really playing the adventure games when they were. Like, I wasn't there for the adventure. So I only recently started playing Sonic Adventure, and I only recently tried Jet Set Radio. And I honestly don't really know where it's some weird middle. I don't know, something weird in the middle, but it's kind of turning into its own thing, I think. So I don't know, that's a hard question. That is a good question. Oh, for the soundtrack, you mean? Okay. I thought you meant for the game overall. Well, I think there's things I want to do that neither of those games do. If you go to... There's another demo I posted that I think went kind of under the radar. I didn't really tell anyone about this demo, but it's on my SoundCloud for the true fans who will stalk it for days on end. But I have this other demo that's a lot... Like, this is something you would not see in Sonic or Jet Set Radio. This is, like, very different. So I want to take... It's like a triangle, I guess. You've got, like, Sonic, you've got Jet Set, which is like funk, I guess. I don't know what genre that is. You've got like that, you've got like Sonic, and then you've got like atmospheric, like more quiet stuff in like a triangle. And I'm kind of trying to play around in that spectrum of getting a mix between it's well, yeah, because the reason why it's pacing. If you have a level and the music is not paced right, then it's weird, and it's yeah, I think that's, yeah, it's something that I can't solidify as well, because again, we don't know yet the actual pacing, because we don't have like the level content yet. I think when we start working on that more, it'll just emerge and we'll know what kind of music needs to go in what area. But I don't really see it in terms of needing to do something like Jet Set Radio or Sonic, because again, I'm not making either of those. So as much as I take influence from things I enjoy, I'm not going to hold myself to this rule of, oh, it needs to sound more like Jet Set Radio or something, because it's, I don't know, that's just not how I work. It's probably going to end up like, I might get influenced by stuff like that, but ultimately, I'm not going to do it setting out for it to sound like one of those. Like, it's not going to be the purpose. It's not going to be like, people like Jet Set Radio, let's make it sound like that. It's going to be like, here's a song, here's a demo, here's like a music soundtrack for this. It may borrow some elements from all of that stuff, and maybe the combination will happen to sound like something from those games, but it's not because I want to emulate that, it's because it'll solve a problem in the game that it needs to solve, and maybe that solution happens to be a similar solution. But because that's kind of how I see it, problems, solutions. Because yeah, if you try and make the entire game composed like Jet Set Radio, but the pacing is totally different, then it's just not gonna work. Like, you can't have, like, if I for some reason decide to slow Gabby's movement speed down, and I've got like funky Jet Set beats, it's just not like, it's not gonna work. It's just gonna feel off. And people are gonna be like, why does the music feel so pumpy, but the character is so slow? So that's kind of why, yeah, that's why I'm thinking about it as more of trying to explore different directions and what matches to what gameplay, and then finding a good middle ground depending on the situation you're in. But because those situations don't exist yet, it's hard to give a concrete answer. But in due time, you will see what happens, I guess. I can't say for sure, but I guess the answer will emerge as I compose more demos. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I agree that the question is whether it's on a spectrum between adventure and radio. It's more of like, I don't know. It's like, I don't even know. But that's not really the scope in which I see composing music. But I don't know. I don't know how else to frame it. There's probably some other way to do it. But yeah, at the moment, all I have are just sketches. So I guess that's kind of all I can say. There's just different sketches, different ideas. But yeah, I do have in my own brain, I have like a checklist of like flavors I want to do. But again, it doesn't matter what I want to do, because it's like, it'll depend on what the project needs me to do. And that's kind of, yeah, that's where you're gonna actually get answers when that starts happening. It's gonna be like, what does this level need? And then I do what the level needs. And then, well, yeah. I'm sounding kind of crazy now because it's very abstract, but yeah, that's kind of how pre-production is. Animal Crossing to Doom. Okay, maybe... That's interesting. I haven't heard a lot of Animal Crossing music, but I would say that there are things about like, because I've heard like maybe 1 or 2 songs, and it's like Nintendo. I think Nintendo in general have this energy to their music. Because I'm thinking of like Wii Sports, because I haven't played Animal Crossing, but I have played like Wii Sports and I don't know. Yeah, like to me, Wii Sports music and Animal Crossing music, it's not like the instruments aren't the same, but it's the same general energy. I feel like it's very similar. It's like very happy and relaxed, and I think that's something I want to lean into more, because I think the current demos I've put out are a little too aggressive. Like they're a bit too sonic. So I want to kind of like dial that back and try and add in something more, not Animal Crossing, because that's like, I think it gives me the wrong picture in my head, but it's like more, something that's more like nice elevator music for a level, you know? Because elevator music is like easy to listen to. It's not like Doom where it's like aggressive, but there are definitely moments where you do want Doom music. Like there's a time and place for Doom music, and there's a time and place for Animal Crossing music. So I think what I'd like to do is have a mix of that in the entire thing, because the entire soundtrack isn't going to sound like the same song, but I want to try a mix of stuff. But again, I have to ask, what does this need? And I don't know that yet, because the levels don't exist. But when they do, those decisions will be much easier to answer, because I will actually have a level in front of me to look at and go, okay, this area needs to sound like this. And then I'll be able to compose a demo, put it in, test it, see if it fits, and if it does, great. And if it doesn't, well, back to the drawing board. But because I'm not at that stage, I can't tell you how that's gonna go. But I can tell you that when it does get there, it's gonna work like that. It's gonna be like, what does this place need? It needs, maybe this area needs calm music. Maybe this area needs aggressive music. But until the areas exist, we won't know. But yeah, that's kind of like what I'm thinking. But whether that'll happen, well, yeah, as they always say, ideas are always one thing, but actually executing them is something else. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, anyway, I'll probably head off now. I think there's some good solid questions, guys. If you want to kind of know more about the music, yeah, check out those demos I put in chat. That's kind of what I've got on the sketch board, on the mood board right now. But I want to try some more stuff later, but when I get time, because I'm a little busy with other stuff right now. But yeah. Anyway, thanks for coming. I will catch you guys next week for some more goodness. Hopefully I fixed a lot of this stuff by then, but we'll see. So thanks for sticking around. Thanks for the subs and all the support. I appreciate it. Go binge my series, follow the channel, and all that stuff. And I'll catch you guys next time, next week.